All right. Hello there. Welcome back again. Y'all know what time it is. We're here with another Kagurabachi chapter review video. Now, last time, the what's it called? The Irishima talk. I called the island Ishimura a lot. It's actually Irishima. That's my fault. That's my fault. I take accountability for that. But the Irishima talks, fuck my room. The Irishima talks had just started, and there was some conflict with the Mikaboshi. I think that's the name of the clan, if I'm right. If I'm Yeah, Mikaboshi. The Mikaboshi people, aka the people from Shikoku Island, pulled up to Hiroshima Island to talk to the people of Japan about the Danseki and like their stance on it, what they want them to do with it. Uh, and basically, a lot of innocent, reporters got slimed out, but a squad of Shiba, Mashiro, and the two members of the Soga clan. I forget their names. Let me find their names real quick. Hiruto Soga and Yoshinojo Soga. So those four pulled up to Hiroshima Island to talk about the laws on Danseki. And yeah, that's basically where we left off. With the same guy that was sitting in the chair at the end of the last chapter, and Shiva had just pulled up on him. That's where this chapter starts. Now, also, if you remember, there was this old guy who was who was on like the edge of the river, or not the edge of the river, the edge of the ocean, with like four bodyguards, right? Mashiro Pete Game, he noticed this. The four guys next to the old man are probably warriors, but Shiba and I should be able to handle that level of power. The dangerous one is, and then he cuts to the guy in the chair. So, yeah, this is. They already know something's up. They already know something's gonna happen because obviously there was the fortune read that the people of Shikoku were going to be hostile. No, the guy sitting in the chair, according to Mashiro, is more dangerous than the other four put together, which is insane, right? And then the dude in the chair is talking about with the shoulder pad. Shoulder pad guy is talking about, I'll leave when my business is done. And then Shiba calls him out. That business isn't actually talking Mikaboshi. So calls him out, right? Then I'll cut to the chase. If you want to understand our motive, just look at our history. And he's told not to move by Shiba, the guy on the shoulder with the shoulder pad. He's told not to move by Shiba, or the two members of the Soga clan, Hiruto and Yoshinojo, will cut him down. Now, if you remember, Hiruto is the stoic looking one. He's got the long hair falling across his face, look kind of edgy, kind of emo. And then Yoshinojo is the Kenpachi coated one. He got the facial hair. He looked like he bowed it. You feel me? And this guy sitting in the chair just does not care, like at all. He does not care. Saying, "Oh, these guys gonna cut you down if you try it." Like these guys don't care in the slightest. They don't care, or he doesn't care in the slightest. Then he keeps going on. We are the Mikaboshi. Your ancestors chased us off. We hid in the darkness for over 1,000 years. Chiba, Kaganawa, Tokyo. The land I name, uh, the lands I name are our price for that. And while he's saying this, he reaches into his pocket to get a knife, or like a little shiv thing. But before he could even use it, he gets his fingers cut off by Hiruto. Which, also looking at this now, we see Hiruto has a neck tat, which is pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. But he warns them, next time it's gonna be your throat, so don't do it again. And again, this guy sitting in the chair just doesn't care that he just got his fingers cut off. Um, it keeps going on. And this aura you call the Dainseki, we pray to it. It protects us. We coexist. We coexist with it. It is our god. Then he clenches his fist. And then he clenches his fist, which is most likely a symbol for the guards to rush at him. So they do that, and in the process, this guy gets his neck slit by Hiruto, which is what they said they would do. Which is what they said they would do, or which is what Hiruto said he would do. So he didn't lie. He really did slit his throat. So there's 4 guards, and then there's 4 people being Shiba, Hiruto, Yoshinojo, and Mashiro. So obviously everyone's gonna get a one-on-one. So I'm pretty sure Hiruto gets knocked into the ocean. Yoshinojo is knocked through the forest. And yeah, you could tell this dude is very Kenpachi coded because as he's getting launched through a forest, this guy is smiling ear to ear. Yeah, nah, it's crazy. And then Hiruto's just in the ocean, and Shiba's in the air with one guy. I'm assuming he teleported into the air with this guy like he did with what was it, Soya in the Rakuzaichi arc. And then Mashiro gets the last guy that's still on the edge of the beach. And then he thinks to himself, I thought those guys weren't so tough, but they sent the Sogas flying. And what was that black cloud? And what's with that black cloud? He says that because there's like a black cloud behind him, and we gonna learn the reason for that later. But anyway, before that, the guard rushes to Mashiro, and then Mashiro uses his sorcery for the first time, which is basically which basically creates pressure in a specific. Oh my god, I can't read. Jesus. Which basically creates pressure in a specified place and a specified direction. So basically, it's like a force field that can attack. Because the guy can't get through it, but it also hurts him, kind of. Or it also launches him back a little bit. So yeah. The sorcery is called Aku, by the way, with 2 U's at the end. And then the bodyguard uses his sorcery called Kera, Kera. And he basically creates a little bee out of um out of spirit energy and launches that through uh Mashiro's force field, or not force field, his well, technically a force field. It's technically a force field. But the reason I don't call it a force field per se is because in the neck, literally on the same page where the barrier gets pierced, he uses it to attack the guy, and it kind of stuns him a little bit. But he fights through it and punches him in his arm. And Mashiro notes that he has inhuman speed and strength, which yeah, obviously, you know what I'm saying. And then the bodyguard summons another bee. It cuts Mashiro in the leg, and then, oh yeah. Meanwhile, what is happening? Hidito is fighting the guy in the ocean. So yeah, crazy work. Anyway, Hidito gets sliced in the leg by the bee. He gets grabbed up by the bodyguard, and while he's getting choked, uh, Mashiro notices that in the like, okay, so they all have like kind of like collars on. You know what I mean? They kind of have like collars on, and in the middle of those collars is a piece of Danseki. So this is what's giving them the power, the inhuman speed and strength, and the sorcery, pretty much. And then Mashiro notes that if they could wield this power, they can wield the power of the Danseki, power that surpasses what the human body can attain. There's no way we can win with normal attacks. But in this panel, if you read the manga for yourself, which you should, that's why I don't post or that's why I don't, well, it's a main reason why I don't post the panels, because I want you to read this for yourself, and because Shueisha would kill me. But if you read the manga, and you would notice that Mashiro doesn't have his sword in this moment, right? His sword is gone. So behind the bodyguard, we see a little gleam in the sky, and that gleam is Mashiro's sword being launched by his force fields, being launched by a coup. It's a coup, right? Let me make sure. Yeah, a coup. It's his sword being launched by a coup down back to him, and it slices the head off of the sorcerer. Which, all I gotta say, holy W battle IQ. That's all I gotta say. And then he falls back to the floor because he was getting held off of his feet. The guy was taller than him. So he drops back down onto his feet. Then he aura farms by using his sorcery to put the sword back into his scabbard without even looking at it. It's like, yeah, okay, sure. And then Mashiro wonders himself if everyone on Shikoku is as battle potent as this. Then we see Hiruto get out the water with the guard he was fighting, impaled on his sword. Like, he's literally carrying the guard on the sword as he's holding it upright. So yeah, crazy work. And then we also see Yoshinojo walking out of the forest, pretty much unscathed. I mean, he's got some scratches, but like not really any like bad injuries. Same with Kirito, honestly. Machiro was really the only one that got like bad injuries. And then Yoshinojo notices Shiba isn't there. He's like, "Hey, Shiba dead?" Which, by the way, amazing aura log for Shiba. There's a reason why this man Shiba is my profile picture. There's a reason why this man is my profile picture. So, as Yoshinojo asks this, Shiba teleports right in front of him, dropping the dead body of the guard he was fighting right behind him, or like right behind Mashiro. Then he hits him with a slick, "Nope, sorry." And then Yoshinojo just laughs at it a little bit, laughs a little bit, and yeah, man, this say is a serial aura farmer. I know they're gonna do him mad justice in the anime, which I hope is coming out soon. Please, I need this. Please, Pete, I need this. I'm sorry. Uh, but yeah, no, I'm really excited to see that anime. But anyway, sidetrack. Me a sidetrack. Um, Mastro notes himself that he has a few broken bones compared to everyone else who was just nicks and scratches. And then it cuts to black, and we see a VHS tape titled "The Ishimura Conference Testimony," and the reporter in this tape is obviously talking to someone in an interrogation room. So he basically says, "So what happened next?" Right? That's what he says. And then we see three pictures of Shiba. Right? Shiba, his hair is a little loose. He has a bandage on his cheek, or he has a little patch band-aid. You know what I'm talking about? A little patch band-aid on his cheek, and then he is like wrapping all around his left arm. It only shows the left side of his face, or it only shows his left side, so we can't see everything. But basically, we know he got injured in this badly. And then he goes up to reach for his face. I'm assuming he wipes his eyes. I'm assuming he's crying while talking to this guy. This guy who's reporting, not reporting, but like this guy who's talking to him about the incident. And then you remember the guy who got his uh, neck slit by or his throat slit by Hirata? Yeah, he's now rising in the chair, like levitating, as his blood drips upwards. And while the chairs and the table and the other dead bodies around the table also rise. So yeah, quick prediction: everyone here besides Shiba is gonna die. Quick prediction, not gonna lie. Everyone here besides Shiba is gonna die. I think Mashiro's gonna die. I think Hideto's gonna die, and then I think Yoshinojo's gonna die. Why? Well, Mashiro. Well, obviously Shiba's gonna live because he's in the future. He's with Chihiro, so obviously he lives this encounter. Also judged by the fact he's doing a testimony about it. But I think Mashiro's gonna die simply because we've never heard his name outside of this flashback arc. We've never heard Mashiro's name or Hiruto's name or um, Yoshinojo's name outside of this arc. So yeah, I really do think that uh, all three of them are gonna die, and I feel like I feel like Yoshinojo and Hiruto dying is going to reenact Akamura's hatred for the people of Shikoku Island, which was going to lead him to start the malediction. I feel like that just makes a lot of sense because that's his clan members. That's his family, basically. Well, I mean, he has a blood sister, but this is people he's grown up around. So, yeah, that's why I think Hiruto and Yoshinojo are gonna die. I don't know why. I just don't think Mashiro's the type of character to make it all the way to the end. You know what I mean? I don't think he's that type of character. I think he's gonna die. I think Mashiro is most definitely gonna die. And I'm not saying that because I don't like Mashiro. I think Mashiro is actually pretty cool, especially knowing his sorcery now. But I just don't see him living all the way to the end, bro. I just don't see him living all the way to the end. And besides, Shiba and Mashiro are good friends, right? So why would he not like bring up Mashiro in the future if they're like good friends, you know what I'm saying? And also he's crying in the testimony, which which leads me, which inclines me to believe even more that Mashiro dies because Mashiro and Shiba are such good friends. Of course, you would cry if you were retelling the events of how your best friend died. I don't know. Well, I don't know if they're best friends, but like they're partners. Shiba's like a master. Mashiro's like a student to Shiba, basically. So Yeah, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Um, let's see. What else? What else? What else? I think I think yeah, I think Mr. Mashiro is gonna 100% die. If he doesn't die and I'm wrong, then hey man. If he don't yeah, if he doesn't die and I'm wrong, then hey man, I'll take that L. I'll take that L. But yeah. Anyway, thank y'all for sticking around. I appreciate y'all being here. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye and stay safe.